Welcome to TradeTheNBA.com. This is John. This report is for the 13th of July, and the other day we just continued making new highs. Pretty much we filled some positive extremes on the intraday and then just kept going up from there. And when you look at this MBI readings, no change. I mean, we're 0.92 for white. That's pretty much getting into the extreme lows until we start seeing a rise in that. There's nothing on the horizon right now that suggests that things are going to go bad real quick just yet. From an NQ standpoint, same thing. So NASDAQ's situation is identical. And this is that typical period in July where, these first 2 weeks of it are usually pretty bullish, and then things start to get interesting. But still, the range from a move is still solid. So from that standpoint, we're slight increase in the volatility, but I think it's probably, I would think after this week is going to really start to get a little more interesting. Gold standpoint, still waiting for its clear line from a bullish standpoint, but again, this is that inconsistency we're seeing with where the real economy is going and whether the hyperinflation that gold was really suggesting was going to take place, and that's why we had the little dip down, because there was doubts that it was, and how strong the real economy, and whether or not, like I said, as long as you still have to have so much stimulus to keep things afloat, not really all that strong. Now, if some of the massive savings that have increased from the American side of things start to get spent, that would actually create it, and or if supply disruptions continue. So from a euro standpoint, still soft within this setup, even though we're in the bullish part of that run. So you can imagine if we get a white MBI that moves above there, or rejection of the green right here on DOC, we could see even new lows being made to that. From a Bitcoin standpoint, it was interesting as we saw the gap up. White moves above just as we're crossing below 76%, and of course that was just a fill of all these positive extremes, and literally came right back. So every time it seems to hit the 34K, it has that trouble. It hasn't broken below that 32 yet, so that seems to be the modest range at this particular point. Some of that could have to do with the effects of China banning mining, variety of reasons, or just that there just isn't enough demand right now to really push it forward. So intraday we saw that brief dip, which took us to positive extreme fill, and then from there caught some support. Even after this white MBI setup right there, came back right to that same positive extreme, and then started to catch that upwind, and that literally lasted the entire day. There was just no real strong break. The earliest part was right here, but we were still well above zero on the shakeout here, continuing to rise. We also had green riding well above cyan, and of course DOC red was riding over cyan. From that standpoint, so green over cyan, and you also had red over cyan. We all know that DOC cyan under red is always the buy category. Very few exceptions to that, which are usually starting with where you get the steel rising above it and then immediately dipping as red starts to roll over, which is literally what started to happen. Literally, there are not that many positive extremes, except for going back early on right here. This one was filled almost immediately, and then the second set of them was right at this bar, and that was filled pretty quickly too. So within that, this is that soft period you get that kind of clears it and stops, or at least is hunting for them to see where they're located. And we're still in a little bullish configuration at this particular stage, starting the post-market. That's the long and short of everything at this particular point. As always, though, I will keep updating the charts and put any special information on Skype chat. Trade well.